Hello, I'm Alex from Second Look at Cinema, and a lot of TV shows and movies and such today like to talk about social issues, but sometimes they can miss the point. So today I'm looking at an episode of Futurama called A Clockwork Origin to see, did it miss the point? So this episode is about creationists attacking the fact that public schools teach evolution and protesting it. Also, the name of the episode appears to be a reference to a common creationist argument called the watchmaker argument, where they say, hey, if you find a watch on the beach, you automatically know it's designed because it's so complex, and so are living cells, a-dur-de-dur. So the episode starts with the Planet Express crew finding out about anti-evolution protests at Kubert's school. And I have to say, the protest is definitely one of the higher points of the episode, since it so accurately shows the level that most creationists argue at. Then, Dr. Banjo, a talking monkey that doesn't believe in evolution, shows up and him and the professor argue about transitional forms.
Oh! If your elitist East Coast evolution is real, why has no one found the missing link between modern humans and ancient apes?
We did find it. It's called Homo erectus.
Then you have proven my case, sir. For no one has found the link between apes and this Homo erectus.
Yes, they have. It's called Homo habilis.
Aha! But no one has found the missing link between ape and the so-called Homo habilis.
Yes, they have. It's called Australopithecus africanus.
Oh, I've got you now. Fair enough. But where, then, is the missing link between apes and this Darwinius macilli? Answer me that, Professor.
And I have to say, this is a very accurate depiction of what creationists argue like. So, the professor and the Planet Express crew go on an archaeological dig to find the transitional form just to spite Dr. Banjo. And Bender gets all butthurt when the professor tells him robots didn't evolve.
There are no robot fossils.
What? Who says I didn't evolve?
Everybody! Robots were created quite recently. It was in all the papers.
Then explain this!
So the professor then finds the transitional form, takes it to the museum to have it put on display there, until Dr. Banjo shows up and turns it into Ken Ham's Creation Museum. And then the professor creates a meme.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
The professor and the crew end up on a lifeless planetoid where the professor creates nanobots to clean the water, but they become more complex.
What's that you say? Those robots evolved all by themselves, you say?
Yes, Bender, you could say they have. The professor stubbornly refuses to accept the robots have evolved, even when they evolve into trilobites, dinosaurs, cavemen, and normal robots in a matter of days. When they get captured by a robot anthropologist...
Thank you. I must say, I'm so proud to see what you've blossomed into since I first created your ancestors.
What?
Well, I thought you knew. You all evolved from some filth-gobbling nanobots I designed. I dumped them in one of your ponds a few days ago.
But this is creationist talk.
Well, look at this hologram I took the day before yesterday of a robot frolicking with a robo-dinosaur.
We're under arrest for crimes against science. In the matter of Everyone v. Farnsworth, the alleged creationist faces a sentence of death by melting.
Oh, how the tables have turned when Farnsworth says he created their ancestors and he is sentenced to death for being a creationist. Bender becomes Farnsworth's defense attorney. There's a pointless cameo by a religious apologist to promote his book, David A.R. White's Appendix Bursts, and Professor Farnsworth walks down the courthouse steps and says, "A good news, everybody! God is not in fact dead!" What? Oh. I'm sorry, I confused the plot of the episode with the plot of God's Not Dead, too. Back to the episode.
Your Honor, this meat man does not deny that we robots are the glorious product of evolution. He claims only to have played a small role in supplying the initial machinery. I ask you, is that so crazy?
But Bender says that it is so crazy, and that Farnsworth should be found innocent on grounds of insanity. Okay, I get that Professor Farnsworth is supposed to be a metaphor for religious moderates, but that metaphor falls apart for a couple of reasons. One, religious moderates don't say that people and dinosaurs lived together, and Professor Farnsworth did.
Well, look at this hologram I took the day before yesterday of a robot frolicking with a robo-dinosaur.
Two, religious moderates don't claim to be the god that created the first cell.
I must say, I'm so proud to see what you've blossomed into since I first created your ancestors.
Three, religious moderates don't act like this.
Objection! I'm not crazy. I created you all, and I came here in a homemade spaceship and lived in a cave. If you don't believe me, ask my uncle.
Four, when atheists like me hear someone is a religious moderate, we don't go, or at least the smart ones don't go, oh, you're one of those religious fundamentalists like Ken Ham at his Creation Museum, you're a creationist. And five, we don't execute religious people for their beliefs! Anyways, our heroes are saved by a robotos deus ex machina. The professor returns to Earth to show Dr. Banjo the pictures he took of robot evolution. Dr. Banjo becomes a religious moderate.
I admit that what you witnessed may have been some form of evolution.
The professor admits that panspermia/divine placement could be a good explanation for the first cell.
And I admit it's possible, however unlikely, that some wise and all-knowing alien monster set evolution in motion here on Earth.
And they both laugh at Bender's crazy beliefs.
Oh, and the creator could also be a robot.
Oh, then who built this so-called creator robot?
Some magical bearded robot in the sky?
Also, there's a B-plot with Zoidberg and looking after Qbert, and Qbert not laughing at his dumb jokes. But I didn't mention it because, one, it's not funny, and two, it's not relevant. So, did this episode miss the point? I'd say this episode missed the point, but only by a little bit. It's very funny. It has that missing link scene, which is really funny. It also created a meme, so automatic points there. Plus, it even has a good message. If you're a religious fundamentalist, there's no reason to be a literalist. And if you're an atheist, there's no reason to treat a fundamentalist and a moderate the same way. However, the part where they made Farnsworth a metaphor for the religious moderates doesn't really hold up if you think about it. And the episode started off at a school, and it really missed an opportunity to talk about how creationists try to legislate their beliefs into schools. Imagine if instead of going on a non-sequitur archaeological dig, the professor found out the creationists had gotten on the educational board and changed the educational standards to favor their beliefs, and Qbert was starting to believe them. So the professor would have to team up with his arch-enemy,
Wernstrom,
to teach the real science and get the creationists off the school board. I think that episode would have been a more on-point way of talking about these issues, because it shows one of the methods that creationists try to do. It actually uses Qbert in an interesting way, and it stresses the importance of education. In short, A Clockwork Origin is an episode with a great start and a lot of potential, with a middle that's mostly filler, and an ending that's based around a bad metaphor. In short, I would give this episode a 7 out of 10. So, let me know whether or not you want us to continue this series, because I will no matter what. The next episode for the series I'll be talking about is Arrow, Spectre of the Gun, so subscribe to our YouTube channel and VidMe channel so you don't miss it. So until next time, don't be lasagna.